being paid for by the New World Order.
Oh, you didn't know?
You ready? Let's go.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? Feed me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Big Daddy Cool, Vinny Apicella, and I am here with you right here on the Sportswire. We are here, and we are recording live. Well, not broadcasting live, but we are recording live here, and quite honestly, we're going to have a great show for you today. We've got coach of the 2015 Semi-Pro Football National Champions, the Connecticut Panthers. We have their head coach, Mark Welch, who will be joining us after our first song. I have a little bit of a discussion. I saw something, I saw a news story that, quite honestly, caught my attention, and it's something that I would definitely talk about on the show, especially with what we've been talking about with the whole transgender movement and the LGBT movement, and quite honestly, it's something that we really are looking at as in terms of society today about going. Fallon Fox, I believe her name is, their female MMA fighter. Well, because of her roles in her role in a fight, in a match, it was sanctioned in the octagon, where she completely obliterated her opponent. And should she be allowed to fight as a female, seeing as she was you still have the natural strength enhancements that a male would have. But today is 2015. Right now, it's about 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm gonna recording it, which will probably be around 4:30, 5 o'clock. But I do want to say, first off, visit our websites, www.swe-ct.com and www.myfatcatradio.com. Also, our Facebook pages, facebook.com/fatcatradio. You can also visit my personal Facebook fan page, facebook.com/BDC Vinny Apicella. Cloud, Tumblr, Foursquare. I think the list goes on and on. Follow us, like us, send us questions, send us whatever. You can also view all of our videos up on YouTube, youtube.com/SportswireSWE, as well as Google Plus, which is the Plus Sportswire SWE. We've got jam-packed for you. Remember, we've got the Dumb Law of the Week coming up as well, or Dumb Law of the Show, I should say. Dumb Law of the Day. There we go. That works. But you know what? Because I want to get Mark on as soon as possible, I'm going to go to a song right now, and it's going to be AJ Jansen, Country Song Survivor, right here, Sportswire.
It's Friday night. Charlie greets me at the door. I'm feeling fine. He knows what I'm looking for. With a wink and a smile, he catches my attention. God bless the man and his patience. No, I ain't from Tennessee, but country music's in my blood. I got it from my grandpa. He used to sing the songs he loved. I don't abide by the rules of a typical cowgirl, but I'm a northern Yankee country song survivor. The scars of the honky-tonk bars in my blood. And when the music's so loud, they don't give a damn where I'm from. Don't tell me that I don't belong in this ballroom, just 'cause I'm a northern Yankee country song survivor. They come in to see me sing about the legends and lost highways. I remind them for a moment everything's okay. With a tip in a jar and an old guitar that's tired, y'all. Here's a northern Yankee country song survivor. The scars of the honky-tonk bars in my blood. And when the music's so loud, they don't give a damn where I'm from. Don't tell me that I don't belong in this ballroom, just 'cause I'm a northern Yankee country song survivor. It's Saturday night. Charlie greets me at the door. He says he's doing alright as he points me to stage door.
Gentlemen, that was AJ Jansen with Country Song Survivor right here on the. Have a little bit of technical difficulties, but I do have Coach Mark Welch on my iPhone microphone, and yes, I will do it ghetto style because I've always. But I will bring in. Guys, no, don't get your hopes up. I'm not bringing Sable in. I'm just using that song because it's a Panther in the background. I'm going to introduce you right now to the coach of the head coach of the Connecticut. Very good. So tell me a little bit about the better players and some people.
In the past.
Pro field in play in the NFL alone.
Maine has a very good team. In anybody can win on any given day.
players just to come out, because you said that the play and
To be honest with you, it started just going to watch my league itself from other teams have go to the NEFL.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for that information. I will definitely let our listeners know, and obviously this will be uploaded as soon as I'm done recording. So you're going to reactivate the Facebook page, so it's not something that's taken care of year round.
Well, it's kind of because I came into ownership last year, and I'm just now kind of getting around to getting those things done. So it's just a change of ownership kind of slows things down a little bit. So we've got to get that stuff back up and going. And it's like anything. There's just there's so many things that you can do per day. So we'll get that back running and certainly pass that on to you, so you can pass it on to the listeners when we get it up and going.
All right, I could definitely understand that. I know for me personally, I'm really looking forward to broadcasting your home games this year live here on Fat Cat Radio from the Sportswire. Just trying to get one of my goals as a broadcaster, and one of the reasons why I got into internet radio is I want to bring the recognition to the semi-pro football, because you're right, as you said, the players pay to play, they put their body through hell just for the entertainment purposes, just because they love the game. And I want to bring the recognition to these players so that, should there be scouts that come calling, at least I could say, here's some game footage, or here's some audio footage of the game itself. And I really appreciate the passion that you have going on. So you said that you came into ownership of the team. So you're not only the head coach, but you're the owner as well?
Correct. That is correct. And I would certainly not to leave Derek Forts out. He gave me the responsibility of taking over what he built years ago, and he did a great job. He's basically the guy that's put this team together in terms of personnel, and he had trust in me enough to come on as an assistant coach at first, and then hand it over when he had to move out of state. So, I'm very fortunate and very lucky to have been in the right place at the right time. So, but he's done a great job since the inception of the Panthers, and they've been a perennial winner, and just the last couple of years gotten over that hump. So.
All right, great. Well, Mark, I want to wish you luck in the season this year. Is there any if anybody's listening that wants to let's say have a tryout for the Panthers, maybe not for this season but for next season, do you have any tips you recommend to them?
Well, I would just say, know your stuff, because again, it's a little different from where most people come from in terms of high school and college. It's the practices, we have a lot less of practice time during the week, so you got to know some football to give it a shot. Can't just come out and just step on the field without knowing some terminology, without knowing some kind of football structure and the way it's coached. So that's the most important thing I would tell people, is just be prepared to you got to have a good football knowledge background to really catch up quick, because we practice pretty quick and have to install a lot of stuff in a lot lesser time. So it's a learning curve is less, so you got to be on your game all the time. All
right, great. So on a personal note, coming away from the Panthers for a second, what's your take on Deflategate and the whole New England Patriots controversy and Tom Brady's possible suspension? How do you see how the NFL handled it?
Well, the suspension I think is a little overblown. Personally, me personally, I just think there should be a different system, number one. I mean, certainly Tom Brady shouldn't be in charge of any footballs prior to game time. So, whether it's the officials or some rule change that has to take place there, that's one thing I would say. But the other thing, being a former quarterback myself, to me, the softer the ball, the tougher it was to get spinning out of your hand. So I don't know, maybe in the colder weather it was better, but I played here in the cold weather, so I always thought it was more difficult to talk to the ball, but, that's me.
That's what I would have thought, too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time. And I look forward to your season. I wish you good luck. Do you have any more scrimmage games coming up with the one that unfortunately was canceled earlier this month?
We're still looking to try and secure some kind of scrimmage or preseason type game. It's tough because we're trying not to play someone we might play eventually regularly, so it's tough because some of these other leagues have already started their season, and it's tough to get a game with them. So, but we're still looking to try and scrimmage a couple teams, and kind of weekly put some calls out there to see who's there.
All right, great.
Take care of it. All right.
All right, Mark. Thank you very much, and we'll be seeing you next month with the start of Connecticut Panthers football.
Look forward to it. Thank you again for having us.
All right, thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That was Coach Mark Welch from the Connecticut Panthers, and I want to apologize. It seemed like my internet connection cut out for a brief second or a couple of seconds during the interview about 6 minutes ago. So, again, I want to apologize that if it comes out a little crummy or a little blank space, so to speak, or dead air. That's the terminology here in the. But anyways, I really appreciate Mark coming on. I really appreciate the Connecticut Panthers wanting to go forward for another national champion. They remind me a lot of the New England Knights that I had the privilege of broadcasting back in the early 2000s with Kenny or mid 2000s, I should say, in like 2008. That I posted some of the games up here on Fat Cat Radio for you to hear my style of broadcasting. I do want to say that I am looking for a partner. That's right. For the Sportswire, I'm looking for a co-host, producer, co-host. In the podcast world, if you're a co-host, you're usually called the producer. I will say that when I did the 2 weeks ago, when I did the podcast with Big Lou and we did the live Sportswire, it came out fantastic because we had tremendous chemistry, and we were able to build off each other and really have a great conversation. So I am looking for somebody, not necessarily to be an in-studio guest, but once I get this conference call system worked out, and we'll figure it out from there. But right now I'm going to go to another song. This is going to be a new artist that I've never played here on the Sportswire. It's Alexa Wilkinson, Heaven Won't Mind, right here on the Sportswire.
It's getting obvious. Push and pull and fall to the primal scream. I'm gonna pay for this. Meanwhile, it's a smile in a sinner's dream. There's a plan of innocence set for return, but all of that's an ocean away. In a den of iniquity, you might as well burn. I promise not to beg you to stay. Heaven won't mind if I steal you for a moment. Love's God-given, so don't be afraid. I ain't gonna lie, it makes it more exciting to know I play the devil in this tug-of-war game. So let me win just one last time, 'cause heaven won't mind. Heaven won't mind. A tower stands about, less than subtle metaphor for what's inside. I know you're having doubts. You still pull me in for the kisses in the burgundy light, and you said, Bordeaux, when there's nobody watching. Well, baby, there's no one looking down. There's a lot to learn before you turn your love, and gotta know what they're confessing about. Heaven won't mind if I steal you for a moment. Love's God-given, so don't be my side, come to my side, come to my side. Heaven won't mind if I steal you for a moment. Love's God-given, so don't be afraid. I ain't gonna lie, it makes it more exciting to know I play the devil in this tug-of-rope game. So let me win just one last time. Oh, let me win just one last time. Oh, let me win just one last time. 'Cause heaven won't mind. Heaven won't mind. Heaven won't mind. Heaven won't mind.
All right, and that was Heaven Won't Mind by Alexa Wilkinson. First time playing her music on the Sportswire. Again, I'd like to thank Coach Mark Welch from the Connecticut Panthers for his interview here, because you know what, it came out great. All right, so what did we say we were going to talk about next? Well, before I get to the female MMA, I will say that semi-pro football has been something that's been a passion of mine personally for the past almost 10 years, maybe 7-8 years. But back in 2008, as you heard, I did post 3 of the episodes up. But I did broadcast New England Knights football with Kenny Gregory and or Len Murdo, or my cousin Lenny, as I should say, because he is my cousin. But Len Murdo was the director of football operations for the New England Knights, and he actually sought me out to do internet broadcasting. We had done it through audiosportsonline.net. I know they're still in existence. I wish I can get the archived games from the Knights, but now I've got my own radio station. Well, here with Fat Cat Radio. Now I do want to let everybody know something, give you guys a status on Fat Cat Radio. As you all know, about a week and a couple days ago, Big Lou, the founder, owner of Fat Cat Radio, passed away. And, last Monday was our tribute show to him. And, and then I did video record the funeral that's been posted up on our YouTube page. Been posted on our Facebook timeline, and boy, this internet is really bad today, so I hope I'm not getting cut out again. But I will say this: we are continuing with Fat Cat Radio. We have a GoFundMe page up. Twism Whitepiece, who is another DJ of ours who just got signed by Red Bull Records. Congratulations to him. He and I are working to keep it going. We have more shows coming up coming down the pipeline. We have more people that are interested in doing shows, and we're looking for sponsors. Anybody could go to GoFundMe, look up Fat Cat Radio to keep us going, because, well, quite honestly, we want to work with the local talent. We want to work with the local bands, indie bands, whatever you want to call them. I know Lou and I had a conversation about that a couple weeks ago. But also the semi-pro sports that, like the Connecticut Panthers or the Connecticut Chiefs, or, the Danbury or Western Connecticut Militia. They're all doing it for the passion. Whether it's an indie band that are playing, playing in bars for, $250 a night, or the semi-pro football players that are paying to play, they're the lifeblood of sports and entertainment. Just like for every guy that's in NXT who's getting signed to the WWE and making, I think in NXT maybe $75,000 to $100,000. There's a guy working every week or working during the week and then doing independent wrestling on the weekends for $75. So, that's the lifeblood of sports and entertainment, is the the semi-pro, the minor league, if you will, the independents. So that's why we are so focused on this. Like I said, go to GoFundMe.com, look up Fat Cat Radio, and help us out. We're still, like I said, I'm still working on trying to figure out the call-in. I had it to the point where I thought I had him hearing, or I was hearing him on our conference call, but instead I had to use my iPhone and do it that way. But you know what? Hey, like I've always said, if something's got to be ghetto, I will let you know, because that's how I am. And like I said, I want to apologize for the internet connection. That's something that I'm working with here. And, so we're in a time of transition here with Fat Cat Radio with this and the Sportswire in general. So just bear with us and definitely help try to support us. Anyways, so last night, before I get into the MMA situation, that's going to be the wire part of this show, because it's going to have some controversy with it. Last night was WWE Money in the Bank, and in my opinion, their pay-per-view events, because now they're on the WWE Network, so they're not pay-per-view anymore, but their pay-per-view events are getting better and better. Because I remember once the network started, everybody was talking about the pay-per-views just being a Sunday Night Raw, and the pay-per-views being lackluster, and too much interview time, and not enough actual action. And they weren't pay-per-view caliber matches anymore, because they figured, you know what, they're only getting $10 a month. They're basically giving a pay-per-view, which normally would generate about $40, away for free. But I have to say this, with the best match of the night down, by far, was John Cena, Kevin Owens. Say what you will about John Cena, the dude can wrestle, and Kevin Owens, who came over from Ring of Honor, was Kevin Steen, started NXT less than a year ago, had his first match at Elimination Chamber to fight John Cena and beat John Cena at Elimination Chamber. Last night they had the rematch. John Cena pulled it out by a thread. He had to go dig deep down into moves that he's never used before to try to beat Kevin Owens, and he finally got him. And then he showed a great sign of respect, trying to shake his hand. Kevin Owens, gave him the pop-up powerbomb on the apron, like he did to Sami Zayn. But it was a great match, and if we support our indie talent, they could get up to the next level, and that's why we're so passionate about indie talent here on Fat Cat Radio on the Sportswire. But it is what it is, and I have to say John Cena's match was awesome, and that was I think the past couple of matches was the first couple of times that I've ever heard people chant "This is awesome" at a John Cena match, and because John Cena's been the one that's been very polarizing. You get the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." You actually had "Let's go Cena, fight Owens, fight" last night. But the match itself was just awesome. It was pure wrestling, and I think it was a throwback to the days of, Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, or Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat, or Ric Flair and Roddy Piper, or Roddy Piper and Greg Valentine. During the heyday of professional wrestling before it became sports entertainment. The match was fantastic. The event was fantastic. Sheamus is your new Mr. Money in the Bank. And I was actually, the main event was a ladder match between Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Seth Rollins won without the help of the Authority, because he pulled it out. I was actually expecting Sheamus to come out, cash the Money in the Bank, while the other two guys were down, climb up the ladder and grab the title. I mean, how perfectly scriptable is that? And I guess that's probably why they didn't do it. But Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, great ladder match. The Money in the Bank match was great. It set up a match for Battleground between Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt, and it looks like I might be losing this again. If this show comes out very spotty with a lot of dead air, please let me know, and I apologize. It's this internet, I keep losing uplink or ping or whatever it's called, but I mean, it still shows that I'm on the air and I'm still recording. There's only one time that I actually had that brief interruption, but I will say this. Money in the Bank last night was great. I don't like having I don't like the WWE Divas division. NXT women, absolutely. I have to say that they've been touting the 4 horsewomen of NXT, being Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and who's the other one? Bayley. And I have to say, they gotta start bringing the NXT women up. But the problem is, the WWE divas are divas in every sense of the word. They can't wrestle. I mean, they're getting better, but still no quality matches like we had back in the late 90s, early 2000s. TNA has the much better women's division with the Knockouts division. Their women ladder matches or female ladder matches, their cage matches. WWE doesn't do any of that. Unless it's the NXT women that are fighting, and they're absolutely great. But I will say this. I will say this, that the match between Paige and Nikki Bella was okay, and they tried the twin magic with Nikki and Brie. I don't like that. I think if it's done right, yeah, it could be great, but I really don't think that it should be done. And I don't even know if it's recording right now because I have the net ping and the net uplink said that I lost it. But it says I'm still recording on air. I don't know if I'm rambling on or not. Okay, we're back. But, I will say this. The WWE needs to work on their Divas division. End of discussion. We need the days of, when they started doing the Diva search and when they actually started calling them Divas is when and they got rid of the women's title, even throwbacks to like Kelly and Mickie James and Gail Kim and, Mickie James and Gail Kim obviously in TNA now, but, you had Kelly and, Tori Wilson, Stacy Keibler, they were decent. They were, starting the Divas, but you go back to Trish Stratus and Lita, Ivory, Chyna, Jacqueline, Jackie Moore, Tori, not Tori Wilson, the other Tori, Tori, the one that was with X-Pac and Kane. They were great. They were women wrestlers and they were fantastic. I'm sorry, did I say Jacqueline and Jackie Moore? I meant Jacqueline and Jackie Gata, who is now Jackie Haas. But, the women's division is not what it used to be. And, they need to bring in some influx of NXT women in there. Natalya is the best women's wrestler they have on the main roster, and they don't use her. They don't utilize her except for squash matches, and now she's a manager of Cesaro, and, Tyson Kidd got hurt, so I'm not sure if that'll be a tag team anymore. But, whatever. That's my soapbox for tonight. Great match between the Primetime Players and the New Day. Primetime Players showed that the New Day can't win without their 3 members because the Primetime Players won the WWE Tag Team Championships last night. While Kofi Kingston was in the Money in the Bank ladder match, the other 2 members of the New Day went out to, fight for the tag titles, Big E and Xavier Woods, and they lost because they didn't have the third guy to switch in and out with. So that shows the Freebird rules give them an unfair advantage. All right, so we're going to go to another song. This is Twism White Piece. We played him before. He's our, my partner now in Fat Cat Radio. This is probably his best song that I've heard. It's Do You Remember? Right here on the Sportswire.
This one's dedicated to the one I still remember. Do you? They say it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all. Do you remember? All of the kisses, the hugs, the moments that we were totally intoxicated with love. Do you remember? stuck, looking out the window at the rain come and go, the days come and go, the pain come and go, the memories of us that I just can't let go. The moment that we met, our eyes lined up, spine deep inside each other's souls. We both knew from the go we had to grab a hold of this train ride. It started like a roller coaster, now like a children's track. We moving slower, hollering and screaming, fighting and believing the best we had already achieved. I believe the moment that we accepted defeat came when we stopped fiending for each other, stopped being there for each other. But there is no other that I would have ever put before you. It's just that the proof I had for you wasn't the truth for you. Now I'm sitting here so shattered, feeling like a fool. Does it even matter? Do you remember? Kisses, the hugs, the moments that we were totally intoxicated with love. Do you remember? All of the promises, the memories, have you forgotten all of them that easily? Too many opportunities to recover from the troubles we were dealt, but not enough energy or health to continue to fight the blows being thrown just below the belt. We use words to cut deep like a ginsu. With issues remaining, we never talked and or rearranged behaviors and or actions. I'm thinking back to when I was backtracking, being attacked by your friends, haters, and pretends. Who was there with a shoulder to lend? Who held your hand when the last man left you stranded? Who took you from misery to happiness by being the friend that made you mad at snowball fights in a snowstorm? Candles lit, formed in a heart with warm oil to start the massage, a collage of pictures, prayers uttered together, filled with wishes. Our best intentions never made it to reality. It's a sad reality, thinking of it really. Do you remember? All of the kisses, the hugs, the moments that we were totally intoxicated with love. Do you remember?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Twism White Peas with Do You Remember right here on the Sportswire. And again, I apologize if you're listening to this and there's dead air. It looks like I've been losing internet connectivity all show between the net ping and the net uplink. I have all that right here on my broadcast console, and it keeps cutting out. But even though the recorder itself only cut out once during the interview, unfortunately. But anyway, so that was Twism White Peas with Do You Remember right here on the Sportswire. I will say, all right, so now we've got something different to talk about. Fallon Fox, who is a transgender, male to female, all right, and she fights as a female MMA fighter. I don't know if whether it's UFC or whatever, but as a female MMA fighter. And she, like I said, she's a transgender, male to female. And in her last match, she brutally injured Tamika Brents. And it doesn't say what league it was for. It just says MMA. And Brents, just 2 minutes into the first round of the match, had suffered a damaged orbital bone, which required 7 staples and a concussion. That's in the first 2 minutes. And Ronda Rousey, who is arguably the absolute best female fighter in the business, in the world, hasn't been able to do that. I mean, she's like 15-0 or 20-something-0 and only spent like 20-something minutes combined in the octagon. But even she hasn't done that. So it brings to question whether this Fallon Fox should be allowed to fight as a woman. And granted, after going through the estrogen tests and the surgeries and everything, she is obviously not genetically, but she's obviously parts-wise, if you will, a female. But being born a male has got to give you some kind of natural strength advantage, because no amount of estrogen or could make up for the amount of testosterone that's already in your body. Now I posted, and I posted this on my Facebook wall. Now I'm all about people changing their lifestyles to suit them for what they want and for how they feel, and but I think it's a little cheating. It's almost like, do you remember the movie The Ringer? Johnny Knoxville, he pretended to be, I don't know if mentally retarded is the PC term, but he pretended to be a special person to go into the Special Olympics so he could win everything. And obviously that was cheating. I think, and I'm not saying that this person, that this woman specifically changed her gender to get into female MMA, but it does beg the question whether or not she should be allowed to. And if, all these sports leagues need to evolve into, it's like saying, okay, you're going to have someone like, we'll just say Alex Rodriguez, because he's the most controversial athlete in sports right now. Let's say he goes through a sex change or gender reassignment surgery, and he wants to play softball professionally. I mean, it's still Alex Rodriguez. He's still got the God-given talent and the strength to overpower a ball. So if you're going to put him into the softball league, well, there's going to be some cheating going on. And I'm not saying the PEDs, because that's all he always gets caught for, but there will be some problems there. I would love to have everybody weigh in on this. It is up on my Facebook page, and go over there and comment on it. But it's amazing, because it's all right. How about you have Tom Brady go through a gender reassignment surgery and start playing for the New England Nighthawks, female football team here in Connecticut? He's still got the God-given natural ability and the natural talent as a man, regardless of whatever kind of chemicals or hormones he takes. And this is all my opinion, and I will stick to it, and I will say that it's my opinion. And this is why I need a co-host, someone to bounce off of, and bounce ideas off of. But I will say that, y'all should have an opinion about this, and it doesn't help to just pass it off and say, oh well, it's not my problem, or I can't get involved in that kind of a debate or whatever. But I will say that, I think that pro sports now needs to evolve to the fact that, this stuff is here. I'm reading from a article posted on LibertyNewsNow.com. It says, transgender female MMA fighter brutally injures female opponent. And the first female, the transgender female, is in quotes. That's not necessary. But Brent summed it up. She said, I've never felt so overpowered ever in my life. And Brent said, I've fought a lot of women and never felt the strength I felt in a fight as I did that night. I can't answer whether it's because this person was born as a man or not, because I'm not a doctor, she said. She stated, I can only say I've never felt so overpowered ever in my life, and I am an abnormally strong female in my own right. So, the referee stopped the match after like two minutes or whatever. And so Joe Rogan, who, was part of the Reinvented Man show, and also, does a lot of work with UFC, and he's got his own podcast out there. He had talked about the bone density of males compared to females or whatever. And, regardless of whether that's true or not, I'm not a doctor. I would love to get in touch with the doctor about this. And, I actually have a roommate who's an audiologist but still had to go to medical school. So maybe I'll bring him on my next show. But I would definitely like to look into this a little more. As you know, with the Sportswire right here, we had Brody Ray Runge on a couple weeks ago during the live show. He's him being a transgender, female to male. He's a singer, a talented artist. But just by just by being like that, or not being like that, but having that kind of a lifestyle, I wonder, I would like to delve into it a little more. It's an interesting topic for me. And, I've always wanted to live as a man because I am a man. I've never had the thoughts of wanting to change my gender or whatever. It has absolutely nothing to do with me being a Christian and reading the Bible and everything. Because you know what, in my opinion, it's to each his own. You choose the lifestyle you want. Your spiritual walk with God is your own. Who am I to judge? Because I've got a lot of bad garbage in my background and past. But, it's one of those things that I'm very interested in. And I think on my next podcast that I broadcast, whether it's Thursday or Friday or whenever, I think I might have my roommate on. He's an audiologist, but he still had to go to medical school. He's got a lot of opinions on this. And, I'd like to ask him just about the bone density and the questions about, natural ability, because you got to remember one thing. You take a guy, even if you take a guy like Ken Shamrock, who arguably is one of the greatest UFC fighters in history, and if he ever, reassigned his gender, became a female, he would destroy the competition. You see Ronda Rousey, who's able to beat men, but, you put her in there with somebody who, used to be a man and a great fighter. Now, I'm not saying that Ronda Rousey can't hold her own, but at the same time, I don't think that she'd be able to beat someone like Ken Shamrock. But, that's that's my opinion. But that's what it is. I think we need to, as a society, delve more into it. Instead of judging people because of Bible verses or whatever, we need to actually explore this subject. And that's why I talk about these subjects here on the Sports Wires, because controversy creates conversation. And if you're too closed-minded to realize that things need to be talked about rather than just judged, well, then you've got to re-examine your life. Because if you're telling me that you have nothing in your background that you're ashamed of or you're guilty of, or if you're not, or whatever, well, then you know what? You're probably Jesus Christ himself, because you're probably living a perfect life. Everybody has skeletons in their closet. Everybody has stuff that they're ashamed of, stuff that they're hiding, stuff that they're guilty of, stuff that they're trying, even if it's stealing a candy bar as a 10-year-old boy or a 10-year-old child, and you've never atoned for it, that's still in your background. But you know what? We're going to go to another song. This is another first-time artist here on the Sports Wire. It's Ashley Bean. It's called My Kind of Ride, right here on the Sports Wire.
When the sun goes down in the night, finally arrives, and they take you for a little ride. Yeah, please go ahead and say goodbye. And don't stop, I'm never gonna stop this drifting from side to side. And your waves gonna win without a fight. Yeah, this is my kind of ride. Sitting at the drag strip, that's where you'll meet me there. And I got no fear. There's no giving up, so jump on in and let's give this round a spin. Don't stop, I'm never gonna stop this drifting from side to side. And though you wait's gonna win without a fight. Yeah, this is my kind of ride. So long and good.
ladies and gentlemen, that was Ashley Bean with My Kind of Ride right here on the Sportswire. Again, a first-time artist that I've played here on the Sportswire. All right, so now it's time for what I like to call the my favorite spot of the time, and that is the dumb law of the day. And today, we will actually be going to the state of Nevada. That's right, the state that houses Sin City, Las Vegas. We're going to Nevada. There are only 2 dumb state laws in Nevada. All right. So, it is illegal to drive a camel on the highway. I don't know how you drive a camel. I would assume it's riding a camel, but I didn't even think there were camels in the U.S. outside of zoos. But it's illegal to drive a camel on the highway in Nevada. However, it is still legal to hang someone for shooting your dog on your property. So if someone shoots your dog, you can hang them legally on your property, which is quite odd. In Clark County, Nevada, an ordinance makes bringing a concealable firearm into the county illegal unless it is registered with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. In Elko, Nevada, everyone walking the streets is required to wear a mask. In Nyala, Nevada, a man is forbidden from buying drinks for more than 3 people other than himself at any one period during the day. So if you're sitting at the bar, you can't buy a round for the bar because there's probably more than 3 people in there. Crazy. In Reno, it's illegal to lie down on the sidewalk, probably unless you're drunk, coming out of a casino. Benches may not be placed in the middle of any street. I mean, I think that's dumb because I don't think anybody would want to put benches in the street anyways. And sex toys are outlawed in Reno, Nevada, which is probably the prostitution capital of the world. But craziness. All right. I don't even know how much of the show you're actually going to hear, whether it's dead air or not. We keep losing the net uplink and the net ping. But I will say, okay, we're just about out of time for the Sports Wire. I hope you all had a great time. I know I did. I want to thank Coach Mark Welch from the Connecticut Panthers. And as soon as we find out about the Panthers Facebook page, I will let you all know. Remember, July 25th is their first home game, Falcon Field, Meriden, Connecticut. We will be broadcasting it live right here on Fat Cat Radio. Kickoff time is 6:30. So right now, well, have a good week. We'll see you later on this week with the Sports Wire. I should say, also make sure to check out our websites, swe-ct.com, and then myfatcatradio.com, facebook.com/sportswirect, facebook.com/fatcatradio enterprise, fatcatradio/BDC Vinny Apicella, as well, and then also on Twitter, Pinterest, Foursquare, Instagram, Tumblr, SoundCloud. It's at SWE Connecticut. On YouTube and Google Plus, it is Sportswire SWE. So we're out of time, folks. Have a great week. We'll be back later on with the Sportswire.